All right, let's jump right in. For the past couple of years, we've all been playing around with AI that can write, that can code, that can draft our emails, and honestly, it's felt kind of like magic. But right now, a really big shift is happening. We're moving away from AI that just generates stuff to AI that can actually think. And that, well, that changes everything.
And this gets right to the point. It's one thing for an AI to handle a simple, contained task. But what about the messy, unpredictable, complex world of, say, running a business? Can an AI do more than just follow a command? Can you give it a goal and have it figure out the rest? That's where we're headed.
And let's be real, that initial wave was incredible. Millions of us jumped on tools like ChatGPT and Copilot. We were talking to computers in plain English and getting amazing results. It really felt like we were on the edge of a massive productivity revolution.
But after that initial wow factor started to fade, especially when businesses tried using this tech for really important stuff, some serious cracks began to show. Turns out, the magic had its limits.
This example just nails the problem. A real business question isn't a simple lookup. It's complex. You have to think about costs, demand, what people are into, local rules, the whole shebang. So if your fancy AI just gives you a list of vegan recipes, that's not just unhelpful. It's actually worse than useless. It points you in completely the wrong direction.
And these weren't just little bugs. They were deep, fundamental flaws. You had hallucinations, which is a nice way of saying the AI was just making things up. A huge risk. Then there was the fact that they were often just plain wrong, or their knowledge was stuck in the past. And since they learned from the messy internet, they sometimes picked up some pretty inconsistent ideas.
So what did all this mean? It meant that this amazing technology was basically stuck in a sandbox. It was fantastic for low-stakes stuff like brainstorming or writing a friendly email. A great assistant, for sure, but you would never, ever trust it to make a critical decision for your company. No way.
So because of all those issues, the entire AI industry is making a huge strategic pivot. The focus is shifting, and it's shifting fast.
You see, the race isn't about who can generate text the fastest anymore. What people and businesses actually need isn't just a clever response, it's a well-reasoned argument. The new gold standard, the real prize, is building an AI that is demonstrably smarter.
The key technology making this all possible has a bit of a nerdy name: Reasoning Augmented Generation, or RAG+ for short. Think of it like this. Instead of just grabbing information, this system adds a layer of logic on top. It can finally connect the dots. Understand that if it's raining, the ground gets wet because of the rain. That simple cause and effect was a huge blind spot for earlier models.
And this quote from AI pioneer Yann LeCun just captures the ambition perfectly. The goal isn't just to build a better parrot that can mimic how we talk. It's about creating something entirely new, a cognitive engine that can solve problems that are frankly too big and too complex for our brains to handle alone. This shift also solves one of the biggest headaches for businesses, the black box problem. You get an answer from the AI, but you have no idea how it got there. How can you trust it? Well, Reasoning AI fixes this by showing its work. It literally lays out its step-by-step logic, so a human expert, a human in the loop, can look it over and say, okay, that makes sense. I can trust this result.
And all of this power and transparency is leading to something really concrete and exciting: the rise of what we call the AI agent.
Now, an AI agent is a completely different animal. It's a true game changer. You don't give it a list of instructions. You don't micromanage it. You just give it a high-level goal, and it works on its own to figure out a plan, use other apps and tools, and get the job done.
And this table really shows you the massive leap we're talking about. We're going from just generating content to actually solving complex problems. From knowledge that's static and old to information that's live and happening right now. And maybe the biggest jump, from following single commands to executing autonomous multi-step plans. Of course, the challenges change too. We worry less about hallucinations and more about making sure these powerful systems are safe and under control.
But okay, let's keep our feet on the ground here. As this great little story from entrepreneur Varun Maya shows, we've still got a ways to go. These agents are, well, they're in their toddler phase. They're still a bit clumsy, struggling with tasks that a person wouldn't even think twice about. They're not exactly perfect partners, yet. But even with those clumsy first steps, just follow the money. This is where it gets really interesting. The market for these AI agents is projected to absolutely explode from just over $5 billion in 2025 to over $47 billion by 2030. The industry is betting the farm on these agents being the future.
Of course, like with any technology this powerful, this new era of reasoning AI comes with its own set of very complex, very challenging questions.
And these are some really tough questions we have to ask. If a machine can reason, well, whose reasoning is it using? And as these things get more and more complex, are we just creating a new, even more confusing black box? And maybe the biggest question of all, are we at risk of outsourcing our own ability to think critically?
But the future doesn't have to be some dark dystopian movie. The idea here is that the biggest wins won't come from AI replacing us. They'll come from creating better and better partnerships between human intelligence and machine intelligence.
So really, the big takeaway is a shift in how we think about all this. The old way was seeing AI as just a tool, something you pick up and use. The new way is something called augmented intelligence. It's about a true collaboration, blending the incredible speed and scale of a machine's logic with that one thing a machine will never have, our human intuition.
And that brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. Maybe the biggest challenge ahead isn't just about building a smarter AI. Maybe the challenge is for us. As AI gets better and better at reasoning, the real question is, can we get better at questioning? Can we learn to ask the kinds of questions that will guide all this incredible power in the right direction?